So what should I do?
That's
What opportunities are out there? Let's just say what's going on now.
I think it starts with within yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like things that you like, things that you love, like enjoyment and stuff like that.
So
you have to gear towards what makes you happy at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? As a youth, as a young person, they're only interested in what they can enjoy, what makes them happy, and what's fun. And I think some of that gets lost in adult life.
100%.
You know what I mean? When it comes to responsibilities and among other stuff, a lot of that stuff gets lost in there. But ultimately, try and find that youth back. Do you know what I mean? Try and find that fun and that enjoyment, that kind of aspect of it. Do you know what I mean? And then try and go from there. Do things that you like doing, regardless of it. Do you know what I mean?
And sorry, back to what you said, your surroundings. Watch your surroundings because you become that. So when you're around a circle where, you know, they're sincere, wholeheartedly willing to help one another, like when you're in an environment like that, you only want to do good. But for example, I know many people, when they're stuck in a 9-to-5 job, they're a slave to the system, whether they acknowledge it or not. I mean, look, you'll never be, when we've been integrated into the system, so we'll never be truly free if you continue to obviously work the 9-to-5 and do these things. I'm not saying that's not a bad thing. If you want to be a lawyer or doctor, we need people like that. We need people like this in the world. It's not a bad thing. But I'm saying you want to do something you enjoy, and in order to do that, you need to liberate yourself first from yourself, and then you could do that easy from the system.
But I hear what you're saying, and I like the logic of it. You know what I mean? And I understand what you're saying. It all starts with the mindset.
I think people should ask themselves some questions as well. Like, if I wasn't doing this, what would I be doing? And them kind of questions. You know what I mean? And if I wasn't doing this, I was doing this. What would that enable me to do? And what can I do here that will enable me to do something else?
Okay.
So
we've come to that terms that, you know, starting your own business is the way forward. I say, you know, starting your own income, being the boss of your own kind of wealth, it should be the way forward. But obviously it starts with the mindset. Because like you say,
100.
it's very easy to fail if your mindset is wrong. 9 times out of 10, you will fail. I mean, to be fair, 10 times out of 10, you'll fail if your mindset ain't right. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about training that mind.
Exactly.
It's all about training. And how many days do you have to do to get your brain into a gear? There's a saying of 30 days or 60 days or something like that.
Which forms a habit,
forms a pattern of so if you do...
It's the habits, isn't it? It's like building habits.
Yeah.
Building a habit or a lifestyle.
Obviously, when you're younger, you got no fear. You push things out there, kind of thing. You take that risk, you take that gamble. As life went on, you know what I mean, a bit more had to come about. I had to be a bit more clever with how I done things, in the sense that I couldn't just willy-nilly just get up and go and do this. Do you know what I mean? So what I want to say is that when you touched on it, a certain age, you get to a certain age, you need to carry on that fight for when you was younger. Do you know what I mean? But otherwise it stops. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's like risk. It's risk appetite, isn't it? Because when you're young, you got a different type of risk appetite. Like a risk when you're younger is completely different to when you're a certain age and you've got other responsibilities. That risk becomes like a different risk, innit? Do you know what I mean? So it's about finding that balance and trying to get back into that and maintaining that same level of risk appetite, but obviously with less ramifications. You know what I mean?
But the flip side to that coin as well is like the advantage that people in that position have is wisdom. They have wisdom and experience.
Yeah, there are.
There's like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I'm obviously still like in my 20s. So when I'm going through things, I'm making mistakes and learning at the same time.
I think that never ends.
Yeah,
I don't think whatever age you're at, bro. That's never.
I'm trying in itself is trial and error.
Yeah.
I'm trying to enter that sage mode, fam. But yeah, live in a mountain. But yeah, no, I'll definitely say to people like that, bro. You know what it is? It's important to never lose that, man. It's like, although because it's different when you have commitments, like for example, a wife, kids, family. And when you're the breadwinner for the family, it's a lot more difficult. It's a lot more difficult, and it's like you tell yourself like, man, I can't do like this as much because, you know, I've got a family to feed as well. I think the only thing that requires just extra work, man. A strong willpower. You need to have that killer instinct in your mind. I know it sounds kind of nuts, but you're the creator of your own story. I feel like there's the youngest you'll ever be, bro. And there's no telling when we'll pass. So I think it's very important to, you know, take advantage, be ruthless. Like sometimes, like, you know, Dana White, with the whole UFC thing, I remember the whole coronavirus thing was going on. He was one of the first sports entertainers to bring back UFC on Fight Island. And I remember people like, what the hell are you doing? This is that. People looked at him as like he's cold-hearted, cold-blooded, but for him, that was his desire.
Yeah,
that was his desire. That was his killer instinct. He was like, I'm going to get this rolling because this is what I want. Overall, like I said, risk has to be assessed. What's more important, health or your money? But he made his decision, and that's what he stuck to. And that's it. And I think, again, people's risk assessment of things are different, but it's essential never to lose that fire within your heart, man. Because within your soul, there's that little fire within you that's screaming to you. And then one day, that voice is going to stop talking to you. And you're going to be like, man.
I think that's a what you said, that example that you use is it's a big show of like, if somebody's making a completely selfish decision or if they're taking others into account as well. I mean, it's hard to look at that. There's so many factors in that. Obviously, that's his business and he wants to keep that going. He wants to keep his income going. Obviously, the people within the business as well, they got to fight. They got to maintain their well-being as well. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, there's that risk. Or are they going to get COVID? Are you risking them to the disease?
And that, my friend, is called the system.
It's a really mad one, isn't it?
So how do you beat the system?
The system, you have to liberate yourself from it, bro. It's like again, it comes up to the mind, bro. You have to free your mind because you're only controlled when you have no control. Why do you think there's so many distractions, bro? There's so many distractions to keep you away from yourself. Things like Instagram, instant dopamine. Things like TikTok, instant dopamine. These things are tools. They should be used in the correct way. But again, look, it's liberation is different to per person. For myself, I think true freedom, bro, is one when you discover yourself, you know what, this game, because if you think about, bro, the concept of work, the buildings you see around, everything is man-made, bro. We wasn't put on this earth to, work a 9-to-5 job, then just die, be in debt. It's not like that. You're supposed to enjoy yourself, but like I said, I'm not like telling the listeners to, go wild and do this. No.
And leave your job. And
yeah, I was going to say,
no.
We're not telling no one to leave their job.
Not to do
no,
this.
look, keep your job. Keep your job. But it's all about perspective. You need to remind yourself that, you have to evolve. Again, it's like a chess game. You have to make the correct moves. You have to complete your destiny. It's not like you're just stuck. It's difficult to say because, the idea of freedom is different in people's minds. Some people see it in helping people, others see it in being wealthy. I mean, it's just different. But one thing you just have to remind yourself is, the only thing which will last is what you did and what you've done, and that's pretty much it, man. So yeah.
A lot of the stagnant behavior comes from routine as well.
Yeah.
Like if people can change their routine or add some alternatives to their routines and schedules, that's going to make a difference, you know what I mean? Throw in some different things that you don't usually do or people that you don't usually see, do you know what I mean? To give different aspects and different perspectives on your situation, do you know what I mean? That helps.
I've seen it on Snapchat. We've seen people on Snapchat I've seen people build their businesses and their brand starting from just Snapchatting themselves, and now they got big brands, they got big people sponsoring them. They're on TV, on Sky Sports. They're all over the place now.
Yeah,
it's amazing. You know what I mean? So the opportunities, like you say, is out there. Like I say, social media being one of the biggest. I think is to make your own brand, make yourself a brand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you got kids, get them involved because it's making money. And right, do
you know,
now,
like when you was asking a question about what can I do, what should I do? I feel like if you broadened your horizon a little bit and said what can we do, that opens up a lot more channels as well. Big rather than thinking about what can I do. Do you know what I mean? Because
brilliant point.
Say like if I'm into calligraphy or I'm into poems or whatever, and you make T-shirts, and we come together and we got the calligraphy and thing on the
business idea, right?
Do you know what I mean?
Massive.
That's an instant thing right there. Do you know what I mean?
Gem,
but me on my own,
let me just
trying to think of
the idea. That's a massive gem.
Sometimes it's a bit like, like I can't do it all myself. Do you know what I mean? So if I link up with you or I link up with you, then we can make something happen. Do you know what I mean? 100%. So it's try and think about the we as well. Not so much what can we do as a collective. What have you got over there that I can bring something and then we.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So that helps as well, man.
But again, everybody's not got the same mindset. They're not got the same, you know what I mean, vision as yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, And I suppose that brings them down to their own insecurities. Do you know what I mean? If they're thinking, wait a minute, this guy might scam me, that's probably you more thinking about yourself.
Exactly.
I think that's you question yourself more than you question
some
the other
people have had
person.
them experiences as well.
Do you know
so,
what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what's interesting, my bro? Yeah? You know, like, I think that's what a lot of people are afraid of. You know, when it comes to working in a team, I'm sure pretty much a lot of people have experienced either betrayal or backstab, and it's usually from the closest people too, which is the worst part. And I think when it comes into like be it a business or friendship or any form of relationship, I think it's important to always set the tone and not change regardless of whatever the circumstances are. And I think, because think about it like this, right? Say for example, we all three of us enter into a business, and say for example, like I'm the only one that's earning money out of us three here. My mindset will be like, you know what, this ain't right. Let me cut it up. We're all gonna share this out. That instantly sets a tone. Like, you know what, this is someone sincere. When someone's sincere, bro, you automatically like you gravitate towards them. And again, you have to set the tone. For example, even if you were to eventually in time, not you specifically, but if someone was to eventually backstab me, my mindset will be like, you know what, I know I've done the right thing. Although I may have taken a loss, who has truly cheated, myself or you? Do you see where I'm coming from? So I think it's always important to have that kind of philosophy in your own mind. So again, it comes back down to your morals. One thing I would say is do not put a price on yourself like that. Do not for a few likes and the praise of people. Do not sell yourself. Do not, because when people look in the industry like, this guy sold his soul for this. Do not sell yourself for a few likes.
Don't get desperate, man.
Do not get desperate.
Don't do that.
I always say
Understand
this.
your value.
Number one is your values. Secondary is monetary. That will come. They will coincide once you get your values right. That will lead to your goals, to your destiny. And secondly, money will come after that. Money is literally the least of your worries. I know, and there's a thing, when you're attached to something, you become desperate for it. But once you de-attach yourself, you'll find it will gravitate towards you. And that's the interesting thing about life. It's like, it's an unfolding process. It's like, it works in a mysterious way where most of the times you'll plan, this is point A, I'm going to get to point B. But little do you know, you're going to go from A to D, then back to point B there. So it's about acknowledging that. I know this podcast, people are probably listening because they're like, oh, what opportunities are there? It's not about what opportunities are there. It's about what do you see within your own mind? What do you understand about yourself? Where are you heading? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you even know yourself? Do you consider yourself a good person? Are you right? What would you do for what you're looking for? And it's all these little things. And I think when you get these little things right, because it's easy to look at social media or another person and be like, and this is again, untrained, unnurtured human condition, like where things are not right, where we always want what we can't have. You know, you need to be authentic to yourself. You need to, when you're truly comfortable in yourself and you have your own idea of yourself, everything will make sense. And I think that's where anxiety and everything else comes from when you're in a rush. This person's doing this. How do I level up? How do I do this? But we don't realize that the first steps are ourselves. It's nothing stopping us.
You're
it's just
only
us.
gonna get comfortable with yourself.
Look at your social media, yeah, and look at how many people you follow. Yeah, and then think about opportunities. But amongst those people that you follow, how many people can lead you? A lot of people are not following leaders. That's the
exactly.
problem.
So
people are just following followers. Like,
back to your point. Remember, guys, when you guys are following someone on social media, or commenting on their posts and stuff, you're giving your power away in a mad way. Listen to this. So, for example, every celebrity you idolize or every lifestyle you see, they have no power until you click follow, and then you're like, I like this. All you're doing is feeding their ego, their power. Then eventually you're going to become a fan and you're going to be like, man, like, I wish I was like that. But you could have been like that, but you decided to have faith in someone else's idea. It's nothing wrong with following, but some people follow religiously. Like, it shouldn't be like that. You keep your power to yourself and say to yourself, you know what? They're doing this, but this is my path and I'm going to go upon this. But remember, social media is a massive power trip. It will mess up your mind. The power you have it, just don't give it away to unnecessary people and then idolize them and be like, why is their life better than mine? Comparison is the biggest thief of joy. Enjoy where you are right now. There's a process. The moments you're living right now, I'm telling you, 10 years from now, you're going to be like, man, I remember the days when I was doing this. Life is nice. Life is good. Sometimes, obviously, you have to be strong for yourself. But no, life's nice, man. Life's nice. You just need to visualize and it's all good, man. That's it. You just need a source of strength. Find that strength and you're good.
You get what I'm saying?
Again, it's down to no fear. It's down to not worrying, no pressure.
Exactly.
It's down to just, you know what, doing what you feel.
But how much of the pressure do people put on themselves?
Most of it, to be fair. I mean, 99% of the pressure is they put on themselves. Like,
Because I can imagine if someone was to write down their pressures, like if they put the top 5 pressures down, they could probably say like, well, but that one I put on myself.
Yeah.
That one I can probably get rid of by next week. Do you know what I mean? So, like, try and get a different perspective on it.
Yeah.
From that side.
Yeah.
Are you putting the pressure on yourself?
True.
Yeah.
True. So, you know, that's what we got to do in that sense. So, yeah, COVID is here. Opportunities need to come. You know, we need to find a way forward. But again, like I say, it all starts with yourself, your mind, helping those around you. You know what I mean? Getting help.
And yeah, lastly, how would you like conclude? Like, what directions would you give?
I would say try not to get distracted, man. There's so many distractions in life at the moment. Like, you could be focused on something, but there's so many ways of you getting distracted from what you really want or need to be doing. Do you know what I mean? So try not to get distracted. There's so many factors flying in. Like you could be in a situation where you're at home or you're at work or you're at school or wherever you are in that time, but you see the moment you leave that space and you go to another space, the distractions start, and like whatever you have to be able to mentally get yourself back into that mode where you're focused on what you need to do and what you want to do. Do you know what I mean? So that's very important.
And Slims, yeah.
Yeah.
Slims, yeah.
Who?
Slims, yeah.
My what?
Slims.
What about me?
Yeah, what do you think?
Oh, sorry.
I was
Sorry.
like, what?
You know what? I was just taken somewhere where Kieran was talking
man put
about.
him into never wrong for.
Yeah. he was talking about. He was
Man was
talking
distracted.
Man didn't even know his own name. Like, I was like, what?
I was just a victim of distraction there.
I'm telling you, that's how easy it is, bro. That's how easy it
Talking
is.
about distraction, I became a victim
Trust me.
of distraction there. You know what I mean?
That's how easy it is.
Yeah, sorry, you're gonna have to. I forget, what was the question, bro? You know what
Trust
I mean?
me.
I totally lost that. You know what I mean? What was you asking me, man?
Bro, I forgot my question as well. And
See what I'm saying?
You were saying, well, how would you wrap it up in it?
Yeah.
How would you conclude the
That's
thing?
it,
Like,
yeah.
how would you conclude?
Okay, yeah, concluding.
on
I mean,
opportunity,
again, I'm
like-
gonna say the same kind of things. Obviously, distraction is. I've just proven a point there. Is a big factor. Stay focused. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, you're talking about the game of chess. Do you know what I mean? It's all good knowing about the game of chess, but you got to know where your pawn is trying to get.
yeah, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? You're not just trying to get one step. You know what I mean? You're trying to get to the end of the board. So that pawn turns into a king or a queen, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's all about focus, it's about going. And I love the way what you said about not letting your mindset come from a different angle and take that negative into a different place. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, it's very important. Like I said, I think those are the kind of things. Keep yourself clean, keep your mind straight. I think when you got your mind straight and your mind is on point, I don't think nothing can stop you, to be fair. You know what I mean? So just go for that. That's all I can kind of say on that.
That's it.
What do you think?
The mind's a powerful place, man, because that's where everything exists.
Your mind is the key, bro. Again, I think you guys touched on most of the main things. One thing I would say, especially like, I think I could only speak to a person's emotions. I think as an individual, it's just making sure like you don't give up. You know, persistence, never giving up, having hope. Hope is a very special gift. If you could have that, if you could walk into a room and light up with the energy you bring, that's a very special skill you have right there. One thing I would say is, because I know there's the people which are listening right now, I know they've got a lot of ideas. They have dreams. I know they have dreams. Everyone which is born, they're here for a purpose. When you're breathing, so long as you're breathing, you're here for a purpose. You know, God's not unintentional. You have a selected amount of time, be it if not for your life, you're here to make a difference in someone else's life. So one thing I would say is, let me give you an example actually. When you look at any greenery outside or any trees or plants, there's 3 things which they need. They need soil, water and sunlight, right? If you look at the example of a Chinese bamboo tree, in comparison to other trees and plants, it takes several years for it to grow. You could give it all of that, it won't grow. It takes maybe 4 to 5 years to grow. But what happens is when you water it, even with sunlight, again, everything's damp, still doesn't grow. But what happens in due time is in the 4th or 5th year, suddenly within the space of 5 weeks, it literally starts growing. So for example, it'll grow to 80 to 90 feet. So essentially when you look at it from the outside, it looks as though nothing's happening. But what's actually happening is the roots are getting deeper. getting wider. It's creating a solid foundation, a solid base. And then all of a sudden, what may appear to others as overnight success has been a struggle, a continuous struggle of persistence. And then the end result was there. So my concluding message will be, never give up. Never give up. Always have hope in your heart and faith. And most importantly, visualize your end goal. Always tell yourself, even people don't believe in yourself, believe in you. Like, believe in yourself. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, then why would others believe in you? So I'd say definitely visualize. And when you're visualizing, you'll feel overburdened if you say, I need to do this tomorrow. Have your goal in mind, think about it, and keep a journal. So again, life has a way of, creating a path for you. It's something which you don't have to know all the details, but as long as you have the goal in mind, a path will be forged. Just keep a journal of how you'll feel when you get there. So it shows gratitude and gratefulness, and always keep your perspective alive, man. It's almost like, don't allow your lens to get blurry. Keep it fixed, focused, and have good
4K.
People around you. Exactly, 4K thing.
Keep it 4K, yeah?
Yeah.
Even 8K if you can.
That's it.
Yeah, no, that's some powerful messages there. And I hope that,
My guy,
them
Jeez.
guys there, you get me? So,
Okay.
I mean, I hope
Big up the thing over there, man.
I hope someone who listens to this or is watching it can get something out of it. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do. Do you know what I mean? Help ourselves, help each other. Like I said, we don't script nothing, we don't write nothing, we just let it roll.
Straight off the bat.
You know what I mean? And wherever it lands, it lands.
That's
6
it.
or 4, whatever it be. Do you know what I mean? And like again, it's another show wrapped up. I say we're coming up to an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Thanks again for being a part of it. I think that we got another couple of good topics to talk about on the next episode. So yeah, are we good to go?
We good, man.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, also, if you guys are just listening to the podcast, make sure you guys tune into our YouTube channel. Like I said, we want to create a connection with you guys as well. Like this, we want it to be like a safe place where you come, take advice. And again, the advice which we give, these are obviously our opinions. But again, we want to, trigger something within your mind. The reason you're listening to this is for a particular reason. If you made it all the way to the end, there must have been something we've spoken to within you. So make sure you guys share it, take it in, and obviously act upon it. Knowledge is power only when it's applied. And the most important knowledge is self-knowledge. So do not get distracted. Social media, if you need to take a break from it, during this time, stay calm, know yourself, and the path will be forged for you. Simple.
Okay, guys.
Sure.
And we out.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Nice one, guys.
Peace.